Now, I want to be clear that until this actually happens, I suppose it is a rumor, but it is an exclusive story from Giant Freakin' Robot, which has been actually reported on by a few other outlets, including Inside the Magic, which covers a lot of Disney stuff and properties and entertainment. Now, here's the thing with all of this, though. Like I said, until it happens, take it, with a grain of salt, or whatever they say. But Andrew Garfield is supposedly returning again as Spider-Man again. Now, this return as Spider-Man is something people wanted to see for years. They wanted to see, now a lot of people, not everyone, wanted to see the Amazing Spider-Man 3 actually happen because that universe kind of just dropped randomly and never came back. There were a lot of other people, including me, who kind of wanted to see Venom tie into that, like just confirm the Venom verse for Sony is in the Andrew Garfield universe, then work from there. I know you'd have to do a little bit of canon finagling, but it's the Amazing Spider-Man. The brand was dead anyways. I didn't really see a reason not to do that. And then there were, of course, the naysayers who never liked Garfield at all, obviously. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to hop right into it, though, but we are at over 110,000 subs, and that is thanks to you guys. I appreciate you very much. Now, here's the whole thing with this, because Giant Freakin' Robot does have a list of confirmed stories that they've published in the past, where they were basically a scoop like this from a source in the entertainment industry that came true. That's going to be down in the sources down below beneath this article. But what it really comes down to is the fact that a lot of these movies and properties, they're kind of pushing towards the multiverse. Now, the multiverse is something I love. I know there are fans who are already getting sick of it, but it's something I really like because it's a way to kind of show all these different versions of characters that we love. You can get new and familiar faces, or just, completely out of left field things like Alligator Loki. You never know what's going to happen. The sky's the limit. And Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness really pushed further into that after and coming off of the heels of Spider-Man No Way Home, diving into that idea as well. And even as far back as things like Avengers Endgame and Loki, we were seeing this. Now, with What If coming up again with another season and more interest in the multiverse, and now bringing up incursions themselves, which was sort of a concept that I would say was popularized around the 2015, I believe, Secret Wars. There were a lot of Secret Wars. It's very confusing in the comics. This stuff is all kind of coming to a head, and supposedly we're pushing towards a return for Andrew Garfield again. Now, to quote this article, because I think it's easiest to do so, in the comic book event Secret Wars, they're talking about the 2015 one, again, there's a lot of Secret Wars, everything revolves around seemingly endless variants of established Marvel characters coexisting on the same world. So God, Doom's law enforcement is handled by the Thor Corps, a huge group of variant Thors all working together, blah, 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 blah. Basically, you get the idea. There's tons of variants of everyone existing in the same world or universe, and a lot of times in different sections of that world. It's a very interesting comic series. I recommend you check it out. I do know there is a hardcover of it because I bought it. The lead into it is not the best, but it itself is really good. Now, what they're talking about with this article is that essentially they only have a certain amount to work with for the MCU because there's no way to bring in every variant of every character, especially because the comics had had decades and decades and decades to build to that point. In terms of Andrew Garfield, however, this is kind of where he comes in according to this article. The event will need at least a few versions of Spider-Man, and having Garfield on board is all but confirmed or makes things easier or whatever you want to call it. Their source says that Garfield is going to be in this and then is going to come back after this. Now, I think that something we've noticed with the MCU recently, or something at least I've noticed, is there's a lot of testing of the waters. Now, this doesn't mean that they necessarily will backtrack, but what it does mean is it kind of seems like they are doing some fan casting stuff and doing some other things to sort of see where people land on previous adaptations. Now, what I mean of that is getting Venom, getting Tom Hardy to show up for a couple of seconds in the MCU. Yes, it's not much, but kind of seeing where do fans land on that. Getting, and I'm going to give spoiler warning here for Doctor Strange, even though it's months old at this point, so don't get mad at me, bringing in Reed Richards, bringing in John Krasinski to play that role. That was a fan casting, you know, kind of gauging how people feel about that, because that was a character who we didn't really know if he was, when he was going to be introduced. We knew the Fantastic Four was going to happen, but testing the waters in these ways has been happening for a while, and it did kind of seem like that interest was really gauged way earlier on with Spider-Man No Way Home, especially where there were all these little leaks and tidbits even before anything was happening, kind of getting the feedback of people. And we know that for the most part, even if individual viewers might not be interested in the multiverse or might not be interested in specific variants, the overwhelming majority of the audience will pay to see it. And they paid to see Spider-Man No Way Home. One of the reasons for that was the reported involvement of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Now, we already talked previously about this, that Sam Raimi does want to bring back Spider-Man in terms of Tobey Maguire at some point, not like necessarily going to, but that he's open to and interested in working with them again in another Spider-Man project. And Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have both been super duper excited coming off the heels of No Way Home to have been back in their respective roles. They didn't really have a reason to act super excited after the payday, after they had already gotten all of their money and essentially moved on from the movie. It was done. Their contract had been fulfilled. They got their cash. They were just happy to be back and still seem excited about it. But just stop following Tobey Maguire around. That dude is pissed. Just don't do it. He doesn't like paparazzi. It's not cool. Other than that, everybody seemed very excited to be invested. So if this is true, if this source is actually correct, and we actually get to see basically all of these different versions of these characters, we're going to probably see Andrew again. We might see Tobey. I don't really know. I think some of that will depend on the reasoning behind the role. Andrew got way less time to actually finish his character arc, and now that it's really more developed and stuff, there's a lot you can do with him. You know, there's always the opportunity of who else exists in his universe. There's the opportunity of what happened. Did he ever find his MJ? We know he hadn't, supposedly, at the time of No Way Home. Where did his life go after that event with the other Spider-Men? Or even, you know, where was it at before that when he talked about being in that dark place? There's a lot of things we can do with this and see, and it's something that I'm very interested in as well. This is also like, I don't know, I don't want to act like cameos make writing good, because they don't, but this event here, Secret Wars, is essentially the biggest goldmine of potential cameos that we could possibly see, whether it be actors who played X-Men previously in the Fox X-Men universe, whether it be someone like Chris Evans coming back as, I'm not kidding, Human Torch from the Fantastic Four old timeline that happened, not Fantastic. Although you could actually, I don't think anyone's asking for it, you could see them in this too. Basically anything that I think appeared, this is my opinion, anything that appeared previously in Marvel movies or Marvel-based movies appears to be fair game for this. We've already seen that in No Way Home. We've seen that now in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, especially with, again, spoiler alert, I shouldn't have to keep doing this, Charles Xavier bringing back Patrick Stewart, even at the point he's at now in his life. You know, no offense to the man, I love him, but he is a lot older than he was when he first played that role. Even bringing him back kind of shows they are open to this previous casting. So I kind of want to know what you think about this. What are your thoughts on the whole thing? Do you think it'll happen? Do you think it won't? I'm struggling to put my cat down as I record this, who is wrestling with me, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts. And what would you want to see with this? Do you want to see a continuation of Andrew Garfield's storyline? Do you just want to see him, you know, have limited screen time? Because that's kind of the one issue I have with Secret Wars, is that there were so many characters that the only real way they all got their time to shine in the comic was by reading all of the different spin-offs. There were tons of spin-offs and tie-in comics that tied into the story. So because of that, I'm not sure how much supplementary material would tie into Secret Wars. My assumption is that Secret Wars will essentially be the, maybe not Thanos, but the big event of, I don't know, maybe phase 5-ish, kind of get some build up to that, maybe sort of get some cameos and things going where we start to see, oh, this is what we're leading to. Then you have all these versions of characters in Secret Wars, and then a couple of the fan favorites like possibly Andrew or even Tobey might come back after that. I have some faith in this because of Giant Freaking Robot's track record with their rumors. However, again, rumor. I can't stress that enough. You know, you can come back here if it never happens or does happen, and we had no idea. So what do you want to see? What are your thoughts? Do you ever want to see Amazing Spider-Man 3? That's something I want to know. What would you want to see happen in that? Would you want to see Andrew and Tobey appear multiple times again, or you think it's going to get old? Do you just want to see one more time and then we get out of there? I don't know. I'm interested. I'm open to as many times as they want to bring those characters back as are good. I'm the guy who sat through 15 seasons of Supernatural, okay, and all of Dexter. I have no problem with long stories as long as the character is treated with respect and there's a reason to it. Where I get tired of this stuff is when it's just kind of pointless, money grabby, cash grab cameos. So let me know. Have a fantastic day. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. I appreciate you very much. And as always, everyone, stay shui, and in the description down below, there's plenty of ways to help support the channel if you're interested, including a wonderful Patreon where we have wonderful, fantastic human beings like The Dark Nightmare and Seth, who I have to say a major thank you to again today in this video. And my wife runs an Etsy shop named Enchanted Glamor, where she sells all kinds of gifts and jewelry for people in your life that goes to help support the channel. We appreciate you. Have a great day.